I was just so mad the other day because everything want to mess up or what have you. And we were having a good conversation too. So just trying to get this adjusted. Yeah, and back to my usual spot in the house. Some of you people remember this backdrop a little bit, what have you. But yeah, so how you doing this Saturday, baby girl, for round two? Can you
I
hear
think
me?
we're back. There we go.
Yeah.
We're good.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Moving slow. So how you doing this Saturday for round two?
I'm ready for round two, the energy level is up, I like where I'm at, where I'm coming because I'm getting ready to shoot. Are we live now or?
Yeah, we live. We live.
Oh, wow. Okay. Getting right into it. I been emailing with Rex Oliver, so over at Perv Nana, and I think that's a great way. Base here in LA, so um, I think that's a great start. And getting into things, my photo shoots have kind of, they've kind of set the tone. I think
Hmm.
the content that I've put out there, and I definitely like quality over quantity. I'm still from that school, and there's some other things, some other companies that I think it's going to materialize, and I don't want to jinx it. That's why I don't talk too much about it. But I like people guessing, and they know, hey, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. Even though I've been a lot more active too on social media, and so now I think things are much more full swing than
Yeah, 'cause I know you've been trying to get
say.
back into the full swing. I know ever since kind of the pandemic. If some of y'all remember our conversation from previous episodes, kind of you got started then threw you off because of the pandemic. So now you're getting it back started. So for people that be in that position, is it hard to get back on track?
I think it is for anybody, and even like other people in the entertainment industry, even musicians, writers, it's because it really it disbanded so much things, because businesses closed. Sanctuary LAX, they moved. The Dominion is no longer, and
Mhm.
the Lair de Sade, which was one of my home dungeons, that's no longer around, and it's been a very painful process, and I think now we're kind of healing up a lot more.
Mhm.
And as for getting back into it, I'm thinking, okay, it's been kind of touch and go, traveling a little bit, and I'm really aiming for at least to start out Exotica Chicago. I was just at the expo, and I want to get into that too.
Mhm.
um I'll give a lot of good insight on the expo in a little bit, but and I like to do Jersey this year too. We definitely have
Yeah,
to run into each other in person.
I hope to make it to Jersey this year. Um, it's just like I tell anybody, the money's up and down in this business on the porn side of things. And this is me being retired with, not making new content, so repackaging old content,
Hmm.
putting it on new platforms and stuff. And also, people know this: no money in podcasting unless you're a big podcaster that does a shitload of numbers that get what is it, sponsors, excuse me, get advertisers, or you got a strong enough base to where you can do, let's say, a Patreon or something like that. It's really a labor of love, period.
Hmm.
Actually, my porn money actually comes off the podcast because my listeners go buy my porn. That's why I
Right. It
always
leads in. It's a
mention
good
my,
entry point. Yeah.
yeah, period. I mean, don't get it twisted. I have been getting advertiser dollars through Anchor because I
Hmm.
did because I did enough numbers to where
Yeah,
I
they're
could
good
pay
platforms. Yeah.
advertise. Yeah, and then the sponsors I got is really full disclosure, favor for favor type situation. You know what I'm saying? I would have, and I'm talking to somebody about sponsorship, he which is gonna be favor for favor, getting hopefully some edibles maybe, some lookout on some travel for some of my co-hosts or what have you, and myself, but like I said, it's just um getting the money up to travel. That's the kicker. That's why I be jealous of y'all motherfuckers that be traveling. I be like, man, I wish I could travel like y'all.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was a nervous thing, but I think at the same time, I wanted to rebuild financially a lot more. I mean, we lost so much money. I know other performers, I'm talking to them and they've taken other hits. I mean, I've had to start other businesses and which I kind of like because I'm kind of rotating a lot of things too. And I don't, and at a certain point, I'm going to get back into my BDSM roots at a certain point during this year. But during COVID, we've had to do other different kind of things and which is cool.
I think COVID opened it up to
Mhm.
where ladies was able to expand their repertoire because think about it, you just couldn't depend on content anymore because you couldn't film as much because you couldn't get around as much. So now you had to tap into your solo content. Now you had to tap into doing customs and doing stuff like that because let's just be frank, girls weren't doing a lot of that prior to the pandemic. Not really.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't see a lot of girls promote they did customs, or really dip into the fetish side of things as much. You got girls now that's now more focused on fetish than they is their boy girl content.
Yeah, that's true. I've been seeing a lot of that. And I wonder is that going to really oversaturate it because
Yeah.
I know for like say BDSM and I don't always like to put that in the same realm as because fetish and BDSM can be a little bit different, I mean it's in that realm, it's in that side of the store, let me say that, but like say for example foot fetish people may be a little bit freaked out by the dungeon equipment, so but as for that I've seen that a lot where like when I got into the BDSM side of the industry, people were saying, yeah, you know what, probably 5 years prior, maybe even, and I know a lot of people got out of it because so many people like during like at around the 2008 financial crisis.
Mhm. Give it a second, people. She'll be back. Only Skype, ladies and gentlemen. Only Skype.
Their lunch where they had another client come in, and whereas by the time that I came around, um you would have to wait around. You'd have to wait around for a client, and you just have to start learning how to use social media. And sometimes you get really good where you can start beating the other girls. But I
Mm.
mean, that's even like a while back now. Now everything is more digital now because
Mm.
even I'm squeamish about dealing with clients in person when it comes to that. But just
Mhm.
getting out and start filming some stuff too, and it's kind of weird because when you go out, it feels like nothing had really happened, and then you realize, oh yeah, we have this 2.5 year time warp. That's the other weird thing.
And see, and now the girls that were making buku money during the pandemic are now not making the money anymore because people are now outside. So now they got to change up how they do their shit. You get where I come from? Because now also I'm
Mhm.
seeing a lot of face girls starting to do boy girl now. So you got the girls that were doing boy girl a lot tapped into
Mhm.
the fetish because of pandemic. The girls that was came in doing nothing but fetish and solos, now they looking to do boy girl, to do porn or what have you.
Mhm.
And that's why I tell people understand everything is a fucking phase. What might be hot last year ain't hot now. And they always go back to porn was based off of a man fucking a woman. It will always go back to that, people, no matter how much I try to avoid
Yeah,
it.
I mean, yeah, because like we've talked about, like the fetish and BDSM, it's a very niche market,
Yeah.
and I mean, I take a lot of pride that I can go in a lot of different directions and make it pretty believable, and where I can do the fetish and the BDSM because I'm trained for it, and I can take my dynamic, energy and put that into a boy girl scene, and little I've had a chance because of the pandemic, but I'll things are just right around the corner right now, and I mean I'm looking forward to it. I mean it's taken a while just to get my head in the right space where I can say okay, to do like doing a boy girl scene, I'm taking on that submissive role, and I have to open up myself and show some vulnerability for that scene because I'm surrendering myself, so to speak. So
now, just because
yeah.
I had a conversation with somebody because they were saying that a lot of subs look at it when a dominatrix does boy girl, she's a submissive.
And so in some ways not really.
Yeah, because to me, I would think it's not a submissive. It might be because it like put it this way, it ain't like the guy is dominating you fully or
Right.
actually. It's kind of like a combination of y'all switching positions in many because even to the position, for example, riding. The girl is dominant in the ride position.
We definitely are.
Period. While with doggy, it's a combination of he's dominant, she can be dominant at some point, especially when she backs it up. The only position that probably 9 out of 10 a woman is not dominant is probably missionary.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's kind of to me, it's like
kind of like that side thing going.
Yeah. See, imagine we was in the premium smoke room, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking about that, welcome to the Smokers Lounge. It's 11 minutes and I ain't even spoke to my smokers. And you know who I am, Captain Officer Southern Chan, aka the porn rap star. Like I told y'all before, y'all know where y'all can find my porn, my music, and podcast shit. allmylinks.com/porn rap star. You know what it is. 4 wonderful sponsors. Facebook and Ellis Community, EllisWorld.com, hottest adult magazine in the game, RideSizzleMagazine.com. 90% profit and a new place for you consumers to 90% profit for you content creators and for you consumers, a new place to consume your Triple X content, XSiteMoney.com. And last but not least, award-winning, award-nominating voiceover with your smut. And also check out their VR side of things. I'm talking about the one and only BlushErotica.com. Also, a proud member of the GW District Black Podcasting Network. So go over to shop gwdistrict.com and buy from over 500 Black-owned shops, retailers, and boutiques. Also, 5 days a week, you can listen to me in the mornings at fullyswapradio.com. Also, check me out on SkyhawkAfterDarkTV.com as well as the BGP LLC app. So, for some of you people that never seen her, and this is her first time being video, because majority of the time it's audio, sexy, gorgeous, dominant, pretty ass motherfucking smile. She done everything in the business from behind the camera to in front. And also, I met her because of one of my pod mommies. Shouts out to Lenny Craven. The one and only Erikka Riko's. Say hello.
Hey, how's everybody doing out there in Smokeland?
Yes, he's an avid smoker like myself.
Definitely. Yeah, we're going to be talking about later on, after I talk about the expo, I definitely will get into some strains a little bit and get into that portion. And what was funny, I was at the Why Not Cam Awards in October, so I got to run into, so Lily Craven and I met in person finally.
Ooh.
And that was pretty cool, and she was the AVN, so she didn't go to XBiz or anything. And hopefully I run into her, like if and there's a good chance I can do Exotica Chicago.
Yeah, because I was so happy to see that she got nominated for AVN for podcast, sex podcast of the year. Knowing that all the work that she's put in for the past couple of, for the past year, I mean, straight up. And, even though And to me, her podcast is fire, yo. I listen to it on, you know, saying here and there, what have you, when I had time. And it's just, I said, you got the personality to be a great podcast. I'm sorry.
She does. Yeah.
And plus, women dominate the sexuality side of the podcast world. You know, the hip hop podcast world dominated by men. True crime, you might well say dominated by men. But the one side of podcasting that is dominated by women is sexuality. Because people notice majority of those podcasts that was nominated for the AVN was women-led podcasts. Straight up.
Yeah, Lily, I know, was nominated. Well, you know, it's like, it's the age-old thing. I mean, Bill Margold would say this a lot, that, and this is going to sound sexist too, but, you know, the thing is like in porn, you know, the object of the fantasy is the woman. So like the guy's dick is like the prop, you know, and you know, but it makes everything work, you know, for the scene. Unless it's a girl scene, then there's no dick.
Well, sometimes they might put out a strap on or a deal.
Yeah, strap on. So you got something going on there. Yeah.
So it to me is like, even to the point, like when I look at the only podcast that tours the female podcast that are sexual podcasts. You don't see none of the men. And I figured because the fan base for sexuality really is women, because men, for some apparent reason, they don't listen to other men about sexuality. You know, even though I do have a strong male fan base, and that's because a lot of the girls' fans listen to the podcast when I bring them on, and they eventually become a fan of the podcast. And of course, we all know that the main consumer of porn are men. That's part of it. But it's like women are the ones that really want to listen to like the sexuality shit. And it's kind of hard for them to listen to a man talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, some can do it, but yeah, I mean, a woman's gonna want to feel.
Give it a moment. Skype messing up today. This is what I go through as a podcaster. Like, as a podcaster, shouldn't be so rough. Yeah, we back. Now go ahead. What you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many factors, and you know, we're different creatures than men, and vice versa. So I think there's certain things where, you know, it'll work for women, say, podcasting, say, you know, talking about sexuality and whatnot, and
it can be sexual, you know, because let's keep it 100. All the ones that successful is fine as shit. They're good looking ass women. No shade. I mean, but it's the truth. Because you get sucked in by the voice of what they talk about, but then what seriously deal is when the guy or even the female sees them on video and they hooked because it's a beautiful ass woman, you know. Because it's just that's why I said nah. I mean, I'm one of a few men in this field. I will never outdo the women. It's not gonna happen. And I ain't mad at it. So speaking about outdoing the women,
they always said that this industry, this is one industry where, you know, sexism kind of prevails, you know. I mean, but it's just the nature of it, I guess, you know. I mean, it's, you know, people want to watch the, you know.
Women say they want equal opportunity, equal employment, all that. Well, guess what? Become a porn star. Become a sex worker.
Yeah, we're definitely we definitely rule in this industry. You know, and you know, as I mentioned before, you know, right. It was kind of a tail end of the you know, 2008, but because I had contacts, you know, in the industry that I just wanted to try it out, and I thought, hey, you know what? Look, as long as I photograph well, I've been in entertainment for a long time. And there were a lot of things that were, I mean, in mainstream entertainment, things can dry up. You can go a long time and not really work. And even if you're a name actor, you know, even if it looks like you're doing a lot, you're not. and And so it's interesting because there's times when, in this industry where you're working a lot, or you're trying to shoot something, or even making content, so you're constantly at it. But yeah, it's one of those things where, yeah, we definitely rule at that.
Oh yeah, you got so many ways of making damn money. Man, we ain't got but so many ways. We really ain't got. Want to be honest, we only got one way to make a fucking money, and that's boy girl. Because I heard the argument about, well, no, men can make money. You know how many men make money off a webcam? It's trust me, it's way less than one. It's 1% of the top 1% that make money as a male on webcam.
Yeah.
We cannot make money off of solos. As much as people want to sit there and say we can't, no. Because our fan base, especially it being LBGTQ, and especially gay men for the most part, they don't want to see us jerk off. They want to see us fuck. Because that's how they do their fantasy. Remember, they're a man. So just as much as, because I'm going to tell you the biggest misconception that girls have. They think it's a huge market of people that want to watch solo. They don't understand how the solo market works. The solo market is attached to the webcamming. So your content is sold off of your cam base, period. That's why webcammers can make a shitload of money off of solo content than just a regular content creator. And that's facts, people.
Yeah, I know. I know. When I first got into the webcamming with King.com, when we were really making money at it, and I was doing it from the dungeon, and this is like what, almost like 10 years ago now, and yeah, solo worked really well, and I did really well at solo doing that, and sometimes other times, I would have like another model in there with me, and sometimes I would do a bondage thing, and they'd want to see me tie her up and all that, which is pretty cool. But I know the solo stuff, it comes down to it, or either me doing another girl or something like that, But
yeah, because I think a lot of people come in thinking, especially ladies come in thinking that's all they got to do is just use a dildo and post it on OnlyFans. That's why I keep telling you, it's a business. You got to understand the business of it. It even to the point, like, for example, when many of the OnlyFans girls that was making that six figure that were just doing solo, if y'all notice, a lot of them motherfuckers, you don't see them post no damn more. You don't see them no more. Because when it happening was, one, because they wasn't very inventive with their solo shit, which in turn bored the fan base, which in turn wanted the fan base to want more than what they were willing to give. Plus, they came in for a quick lick, not long term. See, that's the difference with a lot, whether or not these girls gonna be successful or not, is how you come in. If you come in thinking short term, all you're gonna do is make short term money because you're not thinking about down the line, which involves evolution, which involves adding to your repertoire, which involves adding fetish to your repertoire, which involves possibly adding boy girl content to your repertoire, period. And it's because they sit there and see the girls that was posting how much they were making on OnlyFans. They were thinking, not realizing these girls only been doing it for like 6 months. It once again, it's like relationship advice. You want to listen to somebody that only been with their mate for 3 years, or someone that been married for 40? I'm just saying.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I know, like right now, speaking of OnlyFans, I mean, this is one of my projects is revamping it, and we're all have some really good boy girl stuff, and like even at the expo, I've talked to some really some pretty good content creators, and we're we'll have some really good scenes, and along with like other companies, and to the point that that's going to help sell my content and newer. But I really want to revamp my OnlyFans, and like we're talking about some some really good boy girl stuff in there,
Yeah, because
and other
they're gonna look for it.
platforms.
So speaking about X3, how the X3 was this year?
The weather really sucked, but the first night, the Friday night, it kind of seemed loud and unorganized, and I really want to just get my bearings. I didn't get there until the evening, and then I went out to eat afterwards, and it was funny. I was picking up more work after, like networking at dinner, but then the next day on Saturday, my real goal, I didn't care about a booth or anything. I just really wanted to, really network with companies, other content creators. And a lot of fans were complaining about the space there. And as we've said, a lot of these expos are not like the way they have been in past years. And the Hollywood Palladium it's like a concert venue. And so where some of the models are like on the upper level, it was kind of hard for fans to like move around. And plus, last year was their Omicron variant. And I remember I showed up, I was dressed like a leather daddy. I was like, that was my way of saying, don't get too close to me, And but this year it was really, the other thing was last year when I was more at the booth, I didn't really get to really enjoy it or network as much as I should have. And this year it was really fun mixing it up with other talents, other people. I was hanging out with Christy Canyon and Ginger Lynn. They were there for both days, and they're always fun to hang out with. And they've been legends in the business. And
yeah, I don't see you with a lot of new faces. I see you with a lot of the legends. From Coral Jewel. Like the newest person I seen you hang with was Lily. But every time I look up, it's a legendary person. Is it that you attract the legends more so, or because you know the legends versus the new models? Or is it you choose to deal with that section of the talent versus newer talent? You get where I'm coming from?
Yeah, interesting. Well, I know a lot of people. I've become really good friends with Corlin over the last year. She was really great helping me get oriented last year at the X3 Expo. And I think it's I'll be honest, there's a lot of people from the golden age that have been very supportive of my career, and just I'd known people from some of the older ones, and I worked with Bianca Seven and Debbie Diamond when I was at the Sanctuary LAX.
Mm-hmm.
And but I'd love to work with a lot of the new talent. There's a lot of really good up and coming male female talent, content creators, and I think as I get more and more into it, but it's there's a lot of people there like Corlin I'm very comfortable with, and some, but I think as I get more around and as I like to say at the Exoticas, I've never been to an Exotica before, but I really want to go to one, and definitely so does it work more too.
Yeah, because Exotica, well, especially New Jersey, I know it's not like everybody goes there. Miami, not so much, but so much. And I think Chicago, because it's always the first of the year. And it's easier for from West Coast to East Coast to get there versus you going from East Coast to West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I said, I mean, how can I put this with the Exotica? The Exotica is a different beast than probably X3 because Exotica been around longer and the spaces are bigger because they always go with convention centers,
Exactly.
And which is kind of crazy because I would think X3 would find bigger venues. It's kind of like they choose to pick like venues that only house, let's say, 1,000 people versus a convention center that holds a lot. Is it because they wanted to be more interpersonal? Because if the fans want it to be more spacious so they can move around, I would think that they would go for a more spacious venue. I'm pretty sure they're plenty they can get. Or is it because it's X-rated and it's porn, they're kind of limited in their choices?
That brings up a good question. I know because they're planning on the X3 Expo. They plan on doing it again next year at the Hollywood Palladium, which is, again, it's more of a concert venue. And, you know, I like it because it's a very historic venue. I mean, that's where the concert finale when the Blues Brothers, you know, I mean, that's the stage where Cab Galloway was on. And so every time I go in there, I take that in. I go, wow, there's so much history here. And, but yet it's very hard for a lot of fans to move around, and it may, you know, it may not even be fan friendly. I do know some people who said that they're not going to go next year because they didn't like the venue, and I can see that because it was hard for a lot of fans to get around, and you know, you kind of have to squish around a little bit, maneuver your way around a little bit. And, but for me personally, I think it's a cool venue. You know, we have this really cool, talent lounge. There's like a bar in there. There's a coffee bar. You know, there's like snacks, refreshments, you know, lots of water and stuff that for the talent. But they had a few screening areas too, but I mean, I think it is a great venue, but then again, it can be a hindrance because, like, at the upper level, it's harder for people to get around it, and then say for fans who may be disabled, I don't know, and that could be problematic for some of them.
Yes, disabled people do come to porn conventions. People, I done seen some big guys in wheelchairs fill on some asses. Trust and believe. So now I know you talking about, you know, filming more boy girl. So now the question I got to ask, because do you okay, how can I put this? Usually guys contact you for the most part. Am I correct?
Yeah.
All right. Now, and you're one that you don't discriminate. I don't want to say discriminate. Let's just say you're willing to work with all races of guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think that sometimes you get boxed in because a person might go down your timeline and see you with like white talent, and it might make them hesitant to hit you up if they're another race?
Well, no, I mean, because I've done some content, and I mean, it's out there. You know, as for that studio, you know, my only real studio that I did the box cover on, you know, and I really didn't get a chance to answer that, and you know, if you go back to March 2020, I was booked for so much, you know, and you would see me with so much more, you know, by now, and you know, now I know, like when I was with Corlin, Jermaine Lavender, he's a really great content creator. He's up and coming, and you know, we've been talking about, you know, getting some good content out there, and you know, I've had fans, you know, they want to see me doing, you know, the interracial scene, and you know, I've done some girl, an earlier shoot that I did when I was doing more BDSM stuff, and I was like, cool, because this let me be more sensual, you know, when I was doing more, when people were more seeing me like in fetish gear, and you know, I have that out on like on my timeline, you know, and so now it's just a question of, you know, letting me, you know, let's get out there and you know, go out there and, you know, start working with the, you know, companies, content creators. And again, this COVID really fucked everything to hell. I mean, I talked to people, and a lot of it's psychological, because there were times when it just, I feel like I can come back and I'm ready to shoot stuff, and then it's like, maybe I need a little bit more time, but
Yeah,
yeah,
because COVID's still running rampant. That's obvious.
Yeah, to my knowledge, I've never tested positive, but you know,
shoot, man,
maybe I had it and I didn't know it. I don't know.
I know the job I got. That's where we stay with that N95 mask.
Yeah.
I'm like, we ain't gonna never lose because they always bring somebody in that COVID that tested positive for COVID, one of the new residents. So we still
Hmm.
walking around on eggshells and everything. And then also the testing now with this new strain, I think chlamydia.
I've been
Now
hearing
people
about
got
that.
to be
Yeah.
swabbed, which is crazy. It's kind of like it's like last year there was no swabbing, and just in the blink of an eye, now you got to swab your coochie, your ass, your mouth. I'm just like, damn. I'm like, Jesus, man. And the sad part, you got straight dudes that got to get their ass swabbed.
Hmm.
No anal, whatever. And then, of course, the argument is, well, if they get, well, women. But I'm like, but he don't get fucked in the ass. That's spit. That's, I mean, don't get it twisted. You can't have it, orally. Yes, I have a mother that was a nurse in that field, side of
Hmm.
the field. But the chances of you catching it orally is way lower than if someone stick a dick in a man's ass. The chances go
Hmm.
higher. So it's just crazy how testing had just completely changed. And then I saw CT, they were talking about moratorium, and I forgot CT even existed.
Yeah. I mean,
Because
I was like out of the loop, but then all of a sudden I was hearing all these stories and I ended up not testing, prior to the expo. I mean, I had a few things and they it's funny, how like things kind of fizzle out and you plan shoots out and it was like again, I was back to like, you know what, I don't really care. I just want to network and get a schedule going and but now, yeah, I mean, I was hearing all about these anal swabs, and just the way that we're going.
I would say it's just, but see, it goes to this like we were talking about with the fetish, the saturation, because
Yep.
we don't realize when something becomes saturated, it's not as safeguarded as much.
Mm-mm.
And on top of that, you got more people coming in, which means that a lot of them are not following the guidelines. But I'm not even gonna say guidelines. Let's just say they're not being smart in their sexual lives. Let's just be honest.
Yes. I was talking to Chris Cardio. He was saying, man, it was with some of the content creators. Um, it's like I'm quoting the Wild Wild West, and people have to be really careful. I mean, there's a lot of nasty stuff out there, and you know, I I've always been like in my regular life, I've always because I mean people from my our generation, AIDS is always, HIV, it's always been around there.
Yeah.
And so I've always been smart enough, whenever I'm, getting active to use a condom and it's been part of my thing. And then with the exception of, certain people that I've had like, committed things, long time ago, but aside from the times that I've been able to shoot on film and I've been tested, that's been my little license to fuck without a rubber, and um but other than that, it's you know you you have to have safe guidelines, and especially for us, we have to preserve ourselves for our work and not get stupid.
Yeah, because to be frank, people, a lot of the times it's the man that brings the shit on set. I know y'all want to hear the truth about that, but it's the fucking truth. It's not necessarily the women. The women, first of all, because women can get dick when they want it, and we get pussy when it's available, they're not going to be as willy nilly sexually, personally as a man would.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I know a lot of them are like, no, no, women can bring it. No, trust me, if you look through history, you do the research,
Hmm.
it was the man that was ground zero half the time. Or
Yeah.
even if it was her, it was because she had a boyfriend that was fucking some other bitches she didn't know about, you
Right.
know, and she fucked him right before she went on set.
Hmm. Yeah,
So,
and I don't
but
understand that because when I know that I have a shoot coming up, man, I'm not The only thing I may do is maybe do vaginal exercises, so I'm like ready to make the scene, because I may not have time to warm up. Everything's very mechanical on set.
Yes.
But I'm not gonna fuck it up by doing something stupid. And where I'm at in life now, it kind of is a joke, but I mean, I'm at the point now, I'm so preoccupied with so many things, that I'm happy to just sit in the corner, jerk off, finger bang myself, and clean up, go out, have a sandwich, go look at a film, go watch the game or whatever. And on top of that, I'm not picking up any emotional baggage, or some personality that I don't want to deal with, and oh, nobody's ever sucked my hump like that before, I mean, oh my God, what did I do now, but so, I mean, I don't know, I'm older now, so I don't want to go out as much, and so I think it's kind of like my treat now is like, when I go on set, I mean, I'll get a nice variety, and it's not, I'm tested, I'm in a safe environment to do what I want to do too, so it's like, hey, we can explore, here on, try this scene out and see if I can do it. And but yeah, I mean, it's not like I go out to the Abbey, or some of the dyke bars, looking for, because I don't want to bring that, and that's the other thing. It's the civilians that bring a lot of that stuff into the industry.
Yeah. Because the only time when you see a woman does it is because she's willy-nilly, because she escorts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the other thing.
Get on the set. Which Hollywood kind of put women in a bind, technically, to be honest with you, because they start to pay less in the early 2000s. And girls had to escort to make up the fucking difference. Because what's the point of me coming out to California for 2 gigs is paying me $300 or $500 a piece? You mind you, your TTS probably was what at that time $250. Then you gotta think about if it didn't cover your travel and hotel. So you already in the hole off of the TTS, and you going to do a shoot, 2 shoots, and paying $500 a piece. You only made $1,000. I see why the girls started escorting. Be a time where girls are making $1,000 a pop.
Yeah, and I mean, again, that's why, I mean, I've gone into like other businesses even away from the industry, and I don't like losing money, and I hear of like certain talents where they go, oh, well, the point is, we broke even. I don't want to break even. I want to come out ahead.
No, that's
and and yeah, unfortunately, it's gotten, and that can be risky in its own right. I mean, all it takes is one bad experience. And I see that on my Twitter feed when, I hear, I know there's some that I follow that are, they strictly do providing. And, every so often I do read, I do read their bad experiences, and
yeah, because I'm sorry, if you come up dirty on the test, it does fuck with you mentally. So that what no one talks about is that when that test comes up, it fucks with you mentally, because your first thought is, I'm supposed to be in the safest industry there is to do this. It's different between porn and escorting. Escorting, there's way more risk because one, you don't know what's coming through that door half the time. I don't give a damn how much you screen a motherfucker. What it might be on that phone, it may not be in person. Period. Versus porn, you know what you're kind of walking into. Person is tested. You're walking on set to a cameraman, what have you. You kind of know what you're walking into. So it's more psychologically damaging if you come up dirty on the TTS. Oh, by the way, everybody and mama going to see that you're dirty. That's the other kicker with that, with TTS. So it's more psychological damaging when you come up dirty versus if you came up dirty in your personal life because ain't nobody else gonna know but you and the goddamn doctor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's the other thing. I mean, and that's another thing. I'm so glad I got into this industry at an older age too.
Yeah.
Because it's not it's like, look, I've done I've done, I've had so much, and I've been able to experiment, but I've been like smart about it. I mean, condoms, whatever. And I mean, I know when when we're doing it on camera, it's a whole different thing. I mean, we're creating this fantasy, and the fans want to see that explosion, the money shot. They don't want to see somebody just do the scene and just bang and then come in the condom. Man, that's not gonna sell. you know um
Shit, no, got them when you about to come, got them pull the condom the fuck off.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, you could do the sucking look. I've seen that happen.
Now, don't get it twisted. I've seen scenes where the girl, but see, that was fake. I did a scene like that too, because she was, I want you to come in the condom, and then I just squeeze the condom out there. That's one thing. But no, I worked with condom for 10 years. The only thing we didn't do condom was blowjob. Now, blowjob raw, and understand we still would test it. It's just, like I said, because of my experience from running behind some of the top BBWs in the game, yeah, kind of want to wear a condom with you because you did just see a dude last night before you saw me. So I like my mama said, if you put enough spit on the dick when you're sucking it, you got nothing to worry about. It's when you're going to pussy, you gotta worry.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are like, well, why? Well, let's just hypothetically speak, she's a little dry. It don't take much to rip skin. It don't take much to get a laceration on your dick while you're fucking. Period. It don't take much. Like I said, so it comes down to, even with lube sometimes, because lube will dry out.
Yeah, there's certain kinds, that yeah, I know after using it for a while, you got to get more in, where it's almost like it causes some kind of friction at a certain point. So.
Yeah, it's no different than shit if a dude, you know what I'm saying? Dude can sit here and jerk off with no lube and he'll hurt his dick. He may not see the scratch, but the scratch is there. Period. Don't ask how I know people. I just know because I don't really use lube to touch when I jerk off. That's just me. I like the skin on skin action. Sorry. But the point being, that's a little thing that people don't even freaking realize. That was the reason why it took me a decade before I came out of the condom. And that was because of necessity, because of I always hear this bullshit. I can't fuck with a condom. Condom seems not gonna sell. Lie.
Really?
Condoms do sell. Believe it or not, I'm a proponent of that. Yes. I still got condom scenes that's selling that I shot in 2010. Stop fucking with me. They just want to see fucking.
That's true.
Now, they don't want to see you suck a dick with a condom. Let's make that clear. They want to see a dick raw.
I don't know where that would ever. So I've never seen anybody try to sell content with a condom blowjob.
No,
it just doesn't happen.
No. The fans see, but see that's. Let me tell you where that came from. That came from producers in Hollywood who would not get in front of the camera, who do not fuck any of these girls. They taking no risk with their lives. Put the pressure on you to wear a condom. Put the pressure on you not to wear a condom. And even to the point where they would pay girls less if they used a condom, which is fucked up.
Yes, and I heard stories about this because I know some talents who they did the condom shoots.
Yeah,
they would get paid less. They told me that.
Yeah, because I don't see why they're getting paid less because they're wearing a condom, because they still had to go do a TTS and still had to show a test.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it if you told them to come on the set and they ain't had to show a test to boot. Okay, yeah, I can see you paying them less for that. But if you still require them to have a test and they choose to wear a condom because they feel more comfortable with the guy going in the pussy with a condom versus, you know what I'm saying? But they ain't got no issue with sucking a dick raw. Then they should get paid the same because you still got to be tested in order to get on the goddamn set to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, no test, it's not going to be happening.
Yeah.
You know, and the companies are they don't want to risk the fines or whatever too, you know?
Because I know in LA, they say you got to use a condom. Now, they ain't say nothing about BJ with a condom, but that bathroom, they want you to wear a condom.
Yeah, and yet, I mean, I mean, I've shot here, you know, here in LA without a condom, you know, once I was tested, but I don't know, but you know, now that, who knows, that may be different now.
Well, one, how the hell they going to enforce it? What they going to do? Put together a police force to go around the porn companies like, excuse me, you're under arrest for fucking raw. Put your hands behind your back.
Yep.
Read them Miranda rights.
We, you know, back in the old day, you know, Bill would, you know, he said that, you know, he would tell people like Amber Lynn, while you're shooting your scene, have your clothes nearby because we may get raided. I just thought of that.
Yeah, because if you want to be honest, technically, they don't enforce it, but porn is only legal in 2 states. And surprise, California and Florida. That's it. You know, period. To where you can legally do it, but no one enforces that law. You know,
yeah, like Nevada, where so many companies have moved to now.
Yeah, they don't enforce it. It's technically legal in Nevada.
Yeah, I've shot a little bit of content in Nevada, so yeah, I know. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's really crazy.
Yeah,
you have these content creators, man. They're shooting all over, but yeah, it's really, you know.
But see, but like I said, my thing is, if you're going to step up for being a content creator, because since that's now a new term, back in the day it was called amateur porn star.
Yeah.
Keyword porn star. You still would consider a porn star. You just did amateur work. My issue is if you're going to step out of content creation space to step up your game, you got to also abide by the rules.
Yeah, exactly.
Which means you need to be tested, which means you got to move a certain way and you got to outside and offset move a certain way in order to do this business because our money is made being clean. You can't make money. You can't make money with a dirty test.
It was funny because, you know, it's funny we're talking about this because the other day I was talking to some people about Mark Wallace. Remember him? And I know people from that time period, and there's a documentary. But because I remember, because I used to work with Bianca, and she told me stories about, and she had shot with him, you know, prior, you know, before he got infected. But I remember at the time, I guess Sharon Mitchell had tried to get him. This is when AIM was doing it, and yeah, they had to trick him to getting tested, but he ended up infecting like 3 girls, you know, and it made a lot of news back at that time.
Yeah, it's people got to realize, man, you got to be smart in this business, especially nowadays, because like I said again, there's more people. It's easier to start this, to do this, and to get in. It may not be as easy to stay in, but it's easy to get started in it. And that's the kicker because thanks to cell phones, motherfuckers can sit in OnlyFans. Anybody can get OnlyFans. Anybody can sit there and take a cell phone and film themselves with their homeboy and fuck. And now and also too, like I said, because everyone wants to use the term content creator, so we can be inclusive, which I have no comment about that. But let's just say this. I hate that became a term in industry because now it opened the door for anyone to get in because I ain't got to say I'm a porn star anymore. I can say I'm a content creator, even though the next natural question will be asked, what kind of content you do?
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't understand why the hell y'all keep saying I'm a content creator when you know the next question gonna be asked what kind of content you do. And then of course then they get their little out clause. Well, I do OnlyFans. It's not an out clause because even the girls that don't do adult film get that stigma because OnlyFans is known for for having sex workers on it.
Exactly. And it's sex workers that made OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to it, I keep saying this. All these IG models, because I was listening to Melissa Ford, who is shouts out to her, great, becoming a great podcaster on the JBP. Y'all know who she is. She was the video vixen y'all that my generation used to jerk off to. She has OnlyFans. She does fetish. She was talking about she does feet fetish, stuff like that. Y'all do realize that's a part of the porn world.
Hmm.
They all are coming to our side of the fence because our side pays. Y'all side don't. Y'all fans don't pay y'all. Our fans do. That's why y'all coming to our side of the fence. Because y'all know y'all can't make money any other way. Because the fans ain't gonna pay like Iggy Azalea. Ain't nobody buying her out, but they gonna damn sure get an OnlyFans.
Yeah, it's kind of like and at the same time it was like when OnlyFans was going to kick all of us off.
Mm-hmm.
um I was saying right around that time that nobody's gonna pay money to because they can already see for free a fitness influencer.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not gonna do that on OnlyFans, and so it basically it's the adult it's the porn that the sex workers that made OnlyFans,
Mm-hmm.
and if they think that they can recreate and reinvent it, that's not gonna be happening. Not with
Mm-hmm.
OnlyFans.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, but that's what I'm saying. It's like as much as motherfuckers want to talk shit about sex workers,
Hmm.
y'all doing sex worker shit.
Yeah, exactly. And like you, I have a lot of problems with that because a lot of us, hey, we've taken the heat for what we do. And I know I have, and it's like, look, it is what it is, but it's us that really made that site, and you know
Yeah.
they got to do it.
Yeah. So now let's get to the fun part, because y'all don't want to hear about the weed, don't you?
Oh,
Yeah.
the weed.
They want to hear about the weed, because we always talk about weed, me and her, what have you. See, I don't know the strains I be getting from my weed man, because I don't think he knows.
Hmm.
But then again, you live in a place where you have weed dispensaries.
I am so lucky that I live in this state, in California, and I've been doing this strain called Dark Triangle, and it's a really good sativa. There's another brand, and hey, I'm not getting paid by them, but Lowell Farms.
Mm-hmm.
And what I did earlier was the Chem Diesel, and it's a hybrid. I like this strain a lot, and Lowell Farms is getting a lot of endorsements, like like even celebrities and like Jimmy Kimmel and so forth. But they had another one, Chocolate Tigani, a sativa, a really really good strain. And you get the strains here that have a really high THC content, but even other states. I've been talking to people in Illinois, and they're getting stuff that's like at least 30% THC. Um, Pretty
Mm.
heavy, and
Yeah, because that was crazy is that the states that are legal, you hear people talk about the different strains and shit like that. Then you come to a state like mine, we don't even talk about strains. It like the only strain that we know is like the shit that they told us about, like gas, which yeah, I see why they call it gas, because that shit does woo strong than a motherfucker. I mean strong, you know what I'm saying? But it
mhm,
was like because even when my man, he used to get weed from Cali, and he'll have it in the packet like y'all be getting it from the dispensary.
right.
It be looking like some damn candy and shit, like a candy packet. But I swear, but no, y'all states like that in Colorado and y'all could be actual weed connoisseur because y'all get to know the strains and talk about them and hype them up. Like with states like North Carolina where it's not legal, we don't
Hmm.
have a clue. We just have mid and high. That's it.
Yeah,
That's,
I think that, the climate, I mean, because, North Carolina is known for tobacco. I think you could grow a lot of great
oh,
strains
yeah.
in North Carolina. I'd like to see how the product would turn out. Um,
It would turn out great because, like I said, I mean, shit, cause we grow a lot. I mean, don't get twisted.
mhm,
Trust me, it been times where I break a tear when they do a weed farm bust,
mhm.
and I see all that weed that they burning. And we talking about acres, people, in the
Well,
woods in Rocky Mount. I'm sitting there like they burnt all that shit.
that's crazy. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know. It's kind of weird because, like, here in the US, it's not like Canada where they legalized it nationally. And there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of reasons why they finally did back in the day, because before they'd call it a grow op, and which is basically a suburban house that's used for a growing operation. And what would really give it away was that if every house on the block still had a lot of snow on its roof,
Yeah.
the one house it was melting a lot quicker, that usually meant that they had a grow op, going in there because of the lights and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But what the real money is going to be in seeds,
Yeah.
more so than the actual weed. And I mean, even I'm sitting on seeds because you never know. I may want to get more into growing, and I know people who grow and who've been giving me a lot of really good advice.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
seeds are going to be very valuable.
yeah, because if I grow it, that means I'm growing my own strains.
Hmm.
And that means that I have it in my house. I don't have to, even though it takes a while for it to grow. Don't get it twisted. But it's a difference between I'm having to go because then how can I put this? You can control the chemicals that you use for growing. Period. Because I do believe that like a lot of the chemicals and fertilizers that are used for weed actually does affect the strain. Can sometimes make it stronger, weaker, or what have you.
Hmm.
So you
For
can
outdoor growing, yeah.
yeah, that means you can actually grow reefer. Not
That's right.
reefer, goddamn. Yeah, that's right. I said the old school reefer out of this bitch.
Reefer, I remember that. Grass. I'm old
Yeah.
enough to remember that.
Yeah, I remember you had to get it. You ever got it in like a little paper baggie, like a
Hmm.
little brown paper baggie, or in North Carolina they used to have it in aluminum foil or
Hmm.
what have you. Yeah, yeah. I'm old school, motherfuckers. Yes, I'm old.
The other way was taking a little plastic baggie, cutting it away, and then taking a cigarette lighter, and that way you can make a little dime bag, or an eighth or whatever. And yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
old school like that too. So
yeah. Got to
yeah,
twist that bitch up and burn it. Yeah, there you go, buddy. I used to tell them, don't even do
exactly.
that shit, because I'm about to break it open anyway. Just tear it and give it to me. Shit.
Yeah, here in California, you have a lot of fancy packaging, like we were talking about, and then you just what's the use? It's going to be broken open and thrown away. But it's here to stay. It's a trend, and hopefully, at a certain point, national legalization, perhaps. I don't know. I mean, because here's the thing: the cat's out of the bag now, and
Yeah,
when you hear like a few years back when Jeff Sessions was like going to go after it, I'm like, you're way too late. You're a few decades too late, and like out here in California, it's a way of life. It's um. I was having this conversation where we were talking about sleeping pills.
mhm.
I've only tried it once in my life, right around '04, and I was working a lot. I was working a lot as a writer, and I was burning it until like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'd get a little bit of sleep, have a meeting after that. But I tried a sleeping pill one time.
Mhm.
All I got was an extra half hour of sleep, and I was like drowsy and groggy for like a day and a half. Now
Mhm.
there's some really good indicas at night and even some edibles.
Mm-hmm.
Before I realize it, I'm out like a light, and and it's like because sleeping pills are really not that good for you.
Oh no.
But there's some really good. I mean, indicas. It's whether you do it in an edible form, a tincture, and whatnot. That'll get the job done, and I think a lot of pharmaceutical companies do not fucking like that.
No, they don't want that. Shoot,
Yeah.
the reason why weed was made illegal was because of the forestry industry.
Mm-hmm.
Because people don't realize how much shit you can do with hemp, which is attached to weed. You know what I'm saying? And the forest industry was afraid to lose money because you got to think about pencils, paper, and stuff like that. I mean, hemp, you can sit here and make belts with it. You can do a lot with hemp itself. You know what I'm saying? People don't realize how much you can do with the actual plant of weed outside of smoking. From cooking to medicine to what have you. Even to the point that, yeah, I ain't even got a blunt because it helps with a toothache. It damn sure do. but that was the main reason why I got delegalized, was illegalized then. Because the government was afraid they were going to lose money because so many government officials had money invested in the forestry industry, period. So it's kind of like, to me, that's why Colorado showed people the way because they saw how much money they made and the crime went down also. See, people
Colorado did it right.
Their crime went down. See, people didn't notice that. Period. Even with Amsterdam, their crime has went down. Now it went up. Now that they're trying to take away the red light district and become a little bit more family friendly.
Yeah. They started doing that trend like over 10 years ago, and I've lived over there, and they've had a lot of weed festivals too. But they were giving the windows that the girls were using, and they were giving it to fashion designers, and they were giving them like maybe a year to see if they can make it. And if they think that they could repackage it, they want to put it like in another area, and it's not going to work, because people, it's the Aldehydes, it's like the oldest part of Amsterdam, and that's where the red light district is, or one of the famous ones. There's actually 3 red light districts there. And also the coffee houses, tourists are going to go there because that's what they want.
Yeah.
They may go to the Rijksmuseum, which I kind of named myself, where all the Rembrandts are at, or the Van Gogh. But eventually, they're going to want to see what it's all about. They're going to want to see what the hype is, and they're going to go to the red light district. It's a given. And the thing is, it's always been kind of festive. Too, unlike other red light districts in Europe, like in Antwerp, where I've been fortunate to live too, and there it's a different feel to it. The one in Brussels, it has a different feel to it. So,
oh yeah, yeah.
And I've been saying I would love to redesign. I would love to bring to LA, say, a red light district like that with window sex work.
Yeah, that's old school as hell. That's some shit you used to see in New York.
Yeah. I would love to see it here with like palm trees in between the windows. I've had so many concepts that I've put together in my head, and I don't think it'll happen. The politicians would never fucking let it happen here.
Oh no.
I guarantee that.
Oh, no, because no, I guarantee you this. Once we become legalized, the next thing that will become legalized, it'll take a decade or two, will be sex work. Will be sex work.
I would like to see that. That's a dream of mine.
Because the simple fact though that you already see that Manhattan decriminalized it. Where you can't be prosecuted for looking for an escort or being one. And just like the government figured out how can we tax and make money off of weed, they're going to figure out how to make money off of that. Because thanks to OnlyFans, they see, okay, there's money in it. How do we regulate it? All you got to do is look at fucking Vegas. There you go. You know what I'm saying? I mean, shit, because if ladies can sit here and file their shit on their taxes, Why not? I'm just saying.
Yep.
So, people, we done came to the end of another one because my tooth is really trying to cut a fucking fool, and I'm tired of this shit. So, with that being said, she will be back, people, for the Smokers Lounge, as well as I'm going to get her sex ass on the premium smoke room, too, for my premium smokers.
We got to do it.
Oh, yeah. $4.99 a month, 6 premium podcasts for you to enjoy. And you know what I always say, the best smoke is premium smoke. You can only view those episodes on Spotify. That's right, Spotify has video like that of YouTube. And what happens in the premium smoke room? It's more unpredictable, more crazier, more uncensored. You might see a little bit of skin, but you won't know unless you subscribe. And where
That's
you
right.
at? Anchor.fm/smoke this over OVA /subscribe. Just in case you didn't understand it, go look in the description. The description. The link is in there. So with that being said, tell everybody where they can spend money on you, Miss Riko.
I would say the best one is right now I'm on Sex Panther, Erikka Riko. Just go to Sex Panther. I'm on OnlyFans. I'm revamping it. I will have some really hot fucking ball draining content very soon. But I am on Sex Panther a lot. I will be on later today. I will be doing video chats, which is kind of like webcamming. And hey, get those dirty fantasies out there. I'll be taking your phone calls, and it's a great way to get personal one-on-one time with me. Sex Panther. I'm really loving that, and it has all my social media links on it. Hey, you got the best in the business on Sex Panther, and it's been good to me.
Yes, and y'all go to Sex Panther and get to sexting and all that good stuff and spend that good money on her. Now, with that being said, you know how
you'll see content that you won't see anywhere else. You'll see some hot boy girl stuff. But you gotta get in there.
Yeah, that's right, people. So you know what to do and you know what you need to do. And you know how we end these things all the time. Life is a learning experience. What's the point of the experience if you haven't learned anything? Smoke this over. Say goodbye, Erikka.
Bye-bye, everyone. Have a great smoke. Light up.